This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Hello everyone! Today we will be watching a lesson from the Grow It, Try It, Like It curriculum. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's begin by taking a look at our Tasty Acres farm map. We already started at Crookneck Squash Row with Lesson 1, Lesson 2 was Spinach Lane, Lesson 3 was Sweet Potato Hill, Lesson 4 was Cantaloupe Corner, and Lesson 5 will be Peach Tree Orchard. So let's go ahead and jump into Peach Tree Orchard. This again is from the Grow It, Try It, Like It curriculum. Miss Sam has put together a little overview of what we will be talking about today. Let's jump in. So let's get started by taking a look over at our word wall. The first word on our word wall is the word fuzzy. Fuzzy. So fuzzy can be like when you buy a brand new teddy bear and the fur feels very fuzzy. The second word is the word pit. Now this is not a pit like a hole in the ground. This pit is a hard stone that contains a seed inside of it, usually in a fruit, like we'll be describing today. The next word is the word rough. So when something is not smooth, it's bumpy and it can be very rough. Like when you find a rock that is not smooth, it can be rough, right? The next word is the word tree. Now, pretty sure we've all seen trees outside. A tree which has bark and the leaves growing out of it. The next word we're going to use is the word juicy. Like when you bite into an orange, it's very juicy, right? The next word is the word round. Round like a circle, right? Round, or like a basketball. The next word is hard. So like this whiteboard Miss Sam has is very hard, or a basketball bounces because it's hard, right? The next word is the word smooth. So like we said, if something doesn't have bumps or ridges or anything, it can be smooth. The next word is the word orchard. Now an orchard is when you grow a bunch of fruit trees together. We call that an orchard. The next word is the word sweet. So like an orange can be sweet, strawberries are sweet. So sweet is the way something tastes, right? Sweet. And the very last word we have is blossom. So a blossom is a flower, right? Flower that usually grows like on a tree or a plant. Like when we talked about crookneck squash grew from the blossoms, right? Or cantaloupe as well also came from the blossoms. So let's continue to use these words throughout the rest of our lesson today. Let's go ahead and wash our hands so we can dive into this lesson. So Miss Sam has just washed her hands and now I'm coming back and I wanted to take a look at this peach before we wash it so you can see how fuzzy it is. Do you see all those little white specks? That's all the peach fuzz. So as I run my finger over it, it feels velvety and fuzzy and soft. So that is why on our words to grow today, we had the word fuzzy. Not because we're talking about teddy bears, but because the outside of the peach is nice and fuzzy, right? However, when we wash it, we tend to wash most of that fuzz off and you can't see it as much. So real quick before I start washing our peach, I just wanted to show you how fuzzy it is. So now Miss Sam is going to take her time to wash our peach. Not only should we wash our hands before handling fruit, we should also make sure we wash our fruit before we eat it. So I'm just going to scrub it gently on the outside, not to press too hard. And now our nice, juicy, delicious peach is ready to be cut open. Okay, friends, can anyone tell me if peaches are fruits or vegetables? Correct, they are fruits. Now, taking a look at these, what shape do you see? So I see what looks like two circles. I'm going to pick them up now. Yes, they are round. Correct. So the shape is round. Now, what color do you see? Yes, so there's a little bit of red right here and some yellow, orangish right there. Now, as we can see, they're not totally round, right? They do have like a little split down the middle, right? Now, do these look light or heavy to you? They're pretty light. They're almost like tennis balls. That's how light they are. These two peaches are also very firm. So they're not too soft and mushy. They're firm, firm to the touch. And as you can see, the outside doesn't look as fuzzy as it did before it was washed, right? It's a little more smooth now, correct? All right, so now we have the peach that is now finally split. I split it two ways. The first way I split it, I wasn't able to get the pit as intact as I wanted it to be. So let's focus on the outside. What color is this peel? It is red, right? And how about the flesh, this part right here in the middle? Yes, the flesh is yellow, right? Very good, right. So even though you can see the pit, I'm going to wait to talk about it a little bit later when I can show you a better one. So this one I split differently, and you can really see that even though the peel is still red and the flesh is still yellow, the pit looks a little bit different. You can see the bumps more. You can see that it's very rough. You can see a very sharp, pointy edge at the end of the pit. And if you look at the other half, I was able to pull it apart completely. So it has all the bumps and ridges. And that means you could almost put it together like a puzzle piece. The pit goes back into that flesh just right, like a puzzle piece. So that is very cool. I also have two dry pits I can share with you so you can see up close what the pit looks like all the way out of the flesh. So you can see that it still has all those bumps and grooves. And also on the inside of the pit, there is actually a seed inside. So here in this picture, you can see the small seed that is all the way inside the pit. Now, you don't have to take the seed out of the pit to plant it. All you need is to take the pit, and that can be planted in soil. Once the pit is planted in the soil, the sun and the rain help the pit grow into trees that stand above the ground. It takes a long time for this pit to become a tree. Can anybody guess? It takes about 3 years for this little pit to become a tree. That's probably how old some of you guys are. Now, I wanted to take a second to talk about the top of the pit. If you see this little bit right here, this was actually connected to the stem. So let's take a look at a regular peach. Yep, that's the exact same part that was connected to the stem. So if we pretend my finger is the stem, you can see how it was growing on the tree. In review, the peach pit becomes a tree, blossoms sprout in the spring, they become peaches in the summer, and when the orchard is filled with peaches, they are picked and become the peaches we grab at the market. Hello friends, Miss Sam here with the Farm to Preschool program. I wanted to take some time to do one last activity before we close out for the day. Now, growing right next to Miss Sam in my imagination is a really big, beautiful peach tree. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to reach out to our sides and make sure we have enough space around us. Make sure your fingers aren't touching anyone to your right and not touching anyone to your left. Everybody have enough space on their sides? All right, so now go ahead and put your hands down by your side and prepare to listen closely. So Miss Sam is going to take you through something called the peach reach. Now, our lovely peach tree has a lot of very ripe, juicy peaches ready to go. So let's get started by reaching up with our right hand, grabbing one of those peaches, bringing it down. And there's a basket right by our feet where we could set it down. We're going to roll back up and reach up with your left hand. One more peach, bring it down and down to that basket. And we're going to roll back up. Now you can reach up with both hands. All right, 2 times the peaches, right? Let's reach up, grab them, bring them down to the basket by our feet, and roll right up, okay? Now, to our right, there's more peaches, or so it looks. Let's reach over. Oh, those aren't peaches, those are peach blossoms. Do you think those are ready to be picked yet? Not quite, right? So let's reach over and come to our left side. How about over here? The blossoms are starting to turn into peaches, but they're still too small, right? They're still yellow, not that red orange we want. But the ones up top, those still look really good, right? So let's go through that stretch a few more times. Go ahead and reach up. And pull those peaches down. Slide your vertebrae back up. Your vertebrae are the bones in your back. Now we're going to reach up with our right hand. Now our fun poster from My Plate shows a lot of different physical activities, right? Because physical activity is really important to our health. All right, Miss Sam got that peach down. Rolling back up. And reach up one more time. And so here you see that using our imagination, we can do a lot of stretching that doesn't require a lot of equipment. And we could still participate in physical activity, right? Thank you so much for joining me. Now let's go back and review our word wall and see if we used all of our words to grow today. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just want to do a quick reflection where we take a look at the words to grow and we think about how we use them today in our lesson. The first word, which is fuzzy, we used at the very beginning to describe how a peach feels, right? The outside of a peach is very fuzzy, right? And then we also explored the next word, which is a pit. We talked about what a pit feels like. We looked at it and what's inside of a pit. And we used the next word, rough, to describe what a pit feels like, right? And the next word is where peaches grow, which is not on a small plant or shrub or bush. They grow on a tree, right? The next word is juicy, which we use to describe our peaches, which were very, very juicy, right? The next word we use to describe the shape of our peach, which was very round, right? Round. And this next word we use to describe the pit, because the pit was not soft, it was actually hard, right? Very hard pit, not fun to bite into. The next word is the word smooth. Now the pit wasn't very smooth, right? What was smooth was the outside of the peach, right? So the peach outside was very smooth and fuzzy. The next word is orchard, orchard. Now, the trees that the peaches grow on grow in an orchard, right? The next word is sweet. Now, sweet is a great way to describe the way peaches taste, right? Aside from being juicy, they're very sweet. And the final word, blossom, we used when we were talking about the peach life cycle, or how peaches grow. The tree starts out and then it starts getting little blossoms before the peaches appear. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you guys had a really great time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you and goodbye. See you next week.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP Ed New York. This program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material is funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.